Hey, this is James, the non-professional, back with another episode of Draw, Draw, Draw. And this is the second part of the two-part series that we're doing on the Star Wars pinup. And in this episode, we're only going to be doing inks. Just one stage, that's all you have to tolerate of me. So anyways, keep your lines really super tight because it is inks, and make sweeping lines as opposed to really slow lines to be meticulous. Yeah, I know, so just as I said in the other episode, she does not look like Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. But I did the best that I could. Actually, I didn't, because I've tried to draw Carrie Fisher in the past, and she is gorgeous as she is. She just doesn't translate well to comic book. So I just went ahead and put, just a gorgeous face up there. Well, what I think is gorgeous face up there, and I just went with it. Put the little, cinnamon buns on the side of her head, and just she's identified by her characteristics: the hair, the robe. So Mark Hamill, I actually tried my best to look up a picture on Google and copy his profile, and he ended up looking a lot more Asian than I wanted to, but oh well. So that hand that you see there, I had to draw that thing like 100 times, because drawing a hand sort of going away from you while grasping something is not as easy as it looks. It's just I guess a sort of a weird position to think about, but I think it looked good. I think it turned out okay. It's believable. So here we go, Harrison Ford's face. Now I had to do some readjustments with his eyes and his nose and definitely his mouth, just to get. He's got like this sort of cocksure smile that he carries around when he's very confident about himself, and I tried to portray that. And but I ended up just going with just his normal mouth, because honestly he's in a dynamic pose where he's just sort of falling into a position where he's about to shoot, and I don't know that he would have a cocksure smile doing that. But anyways, and there's a hand, I guess, going towards, or being holding a gun pointing towards you. Again, that's a difficult position for me, but luckily the gun obscures most of his fingers, so I didn't have to worry about that. Just threw the little thumb down there, and then you can tell where, each digit is on his hand by reference to the thumb. Now the gun was a lot more fun to draw. I basically drew circles in a perspective, and I sort of got the scope wrong. The scope looks kind of, crooked, like it's not pointing directly down the barrel of the gun like it should. And I don't know why I didn't correct it, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it. Hopefully nobody will notice, unless I tell you. Of course you're gonna notice if I tell you. All right, so here I'm redoing his hand, because I had that dynamic pose of a hand, but it looks so awkward, that I just went ahead and just drew just a standard hand, just sort of falling off to the side, and I think that works a lot better. Now we're going to use a blackout technique for his black vest there. Just essentially filling it all in with black, and then coming back in with white pen or white pencil, and putting in the details. A little hatching underneath the neck there. It's important to hatch underneath the neck of your characters, because it makes the sort of the face sort of pop out, sort of stand out, the little contrast that you get there. All right, and if you notice with Luke Skywalker, I use a lot of blackout because it's his outfit from Return of the Jedi, where he fights Vader in the last scene. And then of course you got Luke Skywalker's dynamically posed hand there. People used to make fun of me because I drew hands often like sort of fused together, like his pinky finger and his ring finger there. I actually learned that from Todd McFarlane when he used to draw Spawn or Spider-Man. If the finger was like sort of next to each other, or one sort of in front of the other, he would draw them sort of fused together and just put like this open line in between the middle to distinguish between the digits. And I always thought it looked good, even though people didn't like it so much. So I just kept using the technique. All right, so we're going to wrap up with some final details of Princess Leia and her, cinnamon bun hair, I guess that culture just had outlandish hairdos because her mother, Amidala, used to go out in her official garb and she would just have these really elaborate, just ridiculous hairdos. So that just about wraps it up. Always remember your P's: persistence, patience, perseverance. That's how you're going to mature in any endeavor.